Welcome to today's Explainer. Today is June 30th, 2026, and if you feel like the ground is quite literally shifting beneath your feet, well, the data absolutely backs you up. We're going to break down a massive day of shifts across our legal systems, global economies, and physical environments. Let's parse exactly what's happening in our world today, together. Here is our agenda for today. 1. Landmark Supreme Court rulings. 2. Geopolitics and global crises. 3. The AI economic shift. 4. Extreme weather and space. And 5. World Cup 2026 updates. Let's dive right in. Section 1, Landmark Supreme Court rulings. We're starting off with some truly profound foundational shifts in the U.S. legal system handed down just today. 6-3, that's the breakdown. In a 6-3 decision authored by Chief Justice John Roberts, the court officially upheld birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment. So they ruled that the amendment absolutely guarantees citizenship to children born on U.S. soil, and that's regardless of their parents' immigration status. This is massive because it officially strikes down a first-day executive order from Donald Trump that tried to limit that exact right, cementing a huge legal precedent moving forward. The court also handed down a really highly anticipated ruling regarding athletics. They decided that states can legally prohibit transgender athletes from competing on girls' and women's sports teams. The political ripple effect here was immediate. Donald Trump quickly took to Truth Social, labeling the decision a big win. And you can expect this ruling to trigger widespread, immediate impacts on state laws and school athletic programs across the whole country. Wrapping up a totally historic day at the court, we have a major change to political money. The Supreme Court just lifted caps on how much political parties can spend in direct coordination with candidates. Ironically, this ends rules that have been in place since the Watergate era. With the 2026 midterms looming right around the corner, this fundamentally alters the financial landscape. It's going to allow parties to pour massive, coordinated funds directly into those really tight races. Moving to Section 2, Geopolitics and Global Crises. Let's pan out to the global scale for a second, where diplomatic friction and, sadly, physical tragedies are unfolding incredibly fast. 1,700. It's an incredibly somber figure. 6 days after those catastrophic 7.2 and 7.5 magnitude twin earthquakes struck near Caracas, Venezuela, the confirmed death toll has tragically reached about 1,700. And honestly, the reality on the ground is even more dire than that. The Venezuelan government is reporting that tens of thousands of people are still missing. The sheer scale of this natural disaster is just truly staggering. Over in diplomacy, high-stakes talks in Doha, Qatar are generating some seriously conflicting narratives. Donald Trump claimed that Tehran actually requested the meeting, but Iranian officials directly disputed his account, calling it inaccurate. They did, however, confirm they are there to secure the release of $6 billion in frozen Iranian assets. It's a perfect illustration of the really complex friction and maneuvering happening in international diplomacy right now. And that friction definitely extends to South Asia. We're tracking rapidly rising military tensions there, as Pakistan just launched airstrikes on what it described as militant hideouts along the rugged Afghan border. Now, this comes after recent attacks inside Pakistani territory, but the Afghan government, they are not accepting that justification at all. They immediately issued swift condemnation, calling the strikes outright acts of aggression. Section 3, the AI economic shift. Shifting gears from global diplomacy to global business, the entire narrative is pivoting, and pivoting fast, from AI hype to some pretty harsh economic realities. Take a second to process this massive number. Negative $2.3 trillion. Trillion, with a T. That represents the combined market cap drop of the Magnificent Seven U.S. tech companies. So why does this matter so much? Because as we head into the second half of 2026, Wall Street investors are heavily questioning the timeline for returns on all this massive AI infrastructure spending. The enthusiasm was absolutely there. But now, the market wants to see if this AI revolution is actually going to turn a profit anytime soon. At the exact same time, we're seeing intense global maneuvers all across the tech sector. Amazon Web Services is trying to outpace Microsoft by pouring $1 billion into physically embedding AI engineers right in with their enterprise customers. Geopolitically, the stakes are rising too. Taiwanese authorities just raided 12 locations, including Supermicro computer offices, probing the alleged illegal smuggling of restricted NVIDIA AI servers into China. And over in the media space, the AI narrative took a bit of a hit. Fox News had to formally retract claims made by Kevin O'Leary that China funded opposition to a Utah AI data center. They admitted there was zero evidence to back up that claim. Now, a trillion-parameter AI model is an incredibly advanced system, right? And China just released the world's first open-source version trained entirely on domestically produced chips. This brilliantly illustrates the irony of the escalating tech war. Despite U.S. export controls trying to choke off access to advanced NVIDIA hardware, China is pushing forward and achieving massive AI milestones completely independently. All right, Section 4, Extreme Weather in Space. Let's contrast that digital sphere with some really intense physical shifts happening right now, both up in orbit and down here on Earth. Up in the vacuum of space, human ingenuity and immense physical endurance, honestly, is on full display. NASA astronauts are currently executing a highly complex, high-stakes precision spacewalk airing live right now. Their vital mission? They're actually exiting the International Space Station to replace a worn-out wrist joint on the famous Canadarm2 robotic arm. It is absolute high-stakes orbital maintenance. But back down on the ground, the environment is a whole lot more punishing. Dangerous heat is relentlessly baking Texas and adjacent states. In the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we're sitting at 96 degrees today, but it is climbing fast. Through the July 4th holiday weekend, temperatures are expected to peak near 102 degrees, pushing toward a highly dangerous 105-degree heat index. And the worst part? Meteorologists say there is absolutely no frontal relief or rain anywhere in sight. Section 5, World Cup 2026 Updates. We're finishing up our explainer today with the adrenaline-fueled chaos of the World Cup knockout stages. The round of 32 delivered absolute shockers via penalty shootouts. Up in Boston, four-time champions Germany were actually sent packing by Paraguay, 4-3 on penalties, with goalkeeper Orlando Gill making two massive saves. Over in Monterrey, the Netherlands went down to Morocco, 3-2 on penalties, right after Issa Diop scored a stunning 91st-minute header just to force extra time. And in Dallas, Erling Haaland got on the scoresheet as Norway defeated Ivory Coast 2-1. That sets up a massive clash with Brazil in the round of 16. The bracket shifts just keep coming tonight and tomorrow. Tonight we've got France taking on Sweden at MetLife Stadium, followed by Mexico facing Ecuador at the Azteca. And tomorrow brings massive stakes, with England playing Congo in Atlanta, Belgium versus Senegal in Seattle, and the U.S. men's national team battling Bosnia and Herzegovina out in San Francisco. Well, we've just unpacked an incredibly dense day of news, from the Supreme Court rewriting campaign finance and citizenship rules, to the AI bubble facing a multi-trillion-dollar reality check, to extreme heat and wild World Cup upsets. The world is moving incredibly fast. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Of all these monumental shifts, which one will actually matter most to your future? Thanks for learning with me today on this explainer. Stay curious, stay focused, and I'll catch you next time.